The AR-15 platform has become one of the most misunderstood objects in modern American culture, partly because it sits at the intersection of politics, engineering, and personal identity, and partly because it has evolved far beyond the single stereotype most people imagine when they hear the name. In 2026, the AR-15 is no longer just a rifle, but a category unto itself, shaped by decades of refinement, competition, consumer demand, and manufacturing innovation. What separates a top-tier AR-15 from the rest is not raw aggression or firepower, but consistency, metallurgy, tolerances, quality control, and how well a manufacturer understands that reliability is not created by marketing slogans, but by boring, expensive, obsessive attention to detail. Today's ranking is not about fantasy scenarios or hype, but about which AR-15 brands, as of 2026, have proven they can deliver precision, durability, and long-term performance in the real world, across thousands of rifles and tens of thousands of owners, and which one finally claims the top spot in a crowded and brutally competitive field. Starting at number 10, we have Smith & Wesson's M&P 15 series, a line that represents one of the most accessible and widely distributed AR-15 platforms in the United States. Smith & Wesson's strength has never been radical innovation, but institutional reliability, backed by decades of experience as a legacy firearms manufacturer. The M&P 15 doesn't chase cutting-edge aesthetics or experimental configurations, but instead focuses on consistency, conservative design choices, and broad compatibility with standard AR components. In 2026, the M&P 15 remains popular because it does exactly what most civilian owners expect from an AR-15. It works, it's predictable, and it's supported by a massive company with deep supply chains and warranty infrastructure. While it may not top performance charts or excite hardcore enthusiasts, it earns its place by being a dependable entry point into the AR ecosystem, especially for owners who value brand stability over boutique flair. At number 9 sits Ruger's AR-556, a rifle that reflects Ruger's long-standing philosophy of rugged practicality over refinement for refinement's sake. Ruger has always positioned itself as a manufacturer that builds firearms for people who want tools rather than trophies, and the AR-556 follows that tradition closely. In 2026, Ruger continued to emphasize durable construction, conservative gas system tuning, and parts that favor longevity over extreme lightness. The AR-556 doesn't pretend to be a competition rifle or a precision instrument, but it delivers consistent performance under varied conditions and maintains a reputation for reliability that aligns with Ruger's broader brand identity. It appeals to owners who value simplicity, ease of maintenance, and a design ethos that prioritizes function above aesthetics. Number 8 is Palmetto State Armory, a company that has fundamentally reshaped the AR-15 market by democratizing access through aggressive vertical integration and scale. PSA's rise has been driven by its ability to produce massive volumes of AR-15 rifles and components while steadily improving quality control year over year. In 2026, PSA's offerings span an enormous range, from basic mil-spec rifles to more refined configurations, reflecting a company that has matured rapidly while still operating at industrial scale. What earns PSA its place in this ranking is not perfection, but improvement, transparency, and a willingness to iterate based on consumer feedback. PSA rifles may vary more than boutique brands, but the sheer consistency PSA has achieved at scale makes it impossible to ignore in any serious discussion of the modern AR-15 landscape. At number 7, we find Springfield Armory's Saint series, a rifle that reflects Springfield's effort to re-enter the AR-15 market with a focus on modern manufacturing and clean design. The Saint stands out for its balance between weight, reliability, and quality control, offering a more refined experience than entry-level rifles without straying into luxury pricing territory. Springfield has invested heavily in machining consistency and assembly standards, resulting in rifles that feel deliberate rather than rushed. In 2026, the Saint continues to earn respect for its smooth operation, solid fit and finish, and the sense that it was designed as a cohesive system rather than a collection of parts assembled to hit a price point. Number 6 belongs to BCM, or Bravo Company Manufacturing, a brand that has built its reputation almost entirely on obsessive adherence to mil-spec standards and conservative engineering principles. BCM rifles are known for their strict quality control processes, including high-pressure testing and magnetic particle inspection, practices that are expensive and time-consuming but reveal a manufacturer's priorities. BCM does not chase trends or cosmetic upgrades, instead focusing on producing rifles that behave predictably under prolonged use. In 2026, BCM remains a benchmark for reliability-focused AR-15s, appealing to owners who value engineering discipline over innovation theater. At number 5 is Daniel Defense, a company that has become synonymous with premium manufacturing and military-grade production standards. Daniel Defense rifles are distinguished by cold hammer-forged barrels, proprietary rails, and a level of finish that reflects deep investment in production infrastructure. In 2026, Daniel Defense continues to command respect for its vertically integrated approach, controlling critical components rather than outsourcing them. The result is a rifle that feels cohesive, robust, and meticulously assembled, earning its place among the elite AR-15 manufacturers despite its higher price point. Number 4 is LWRC International, a brand that differentiates itself through advanced engineering and proprietary design choices. LWRC rifles often feature enhanced materials, surface treatments, and piston-driven systems that appeal to owners seeking alternatives to traditional direct impingement designs. In 2026, LWRC continued to push the boundaries of AR-15 engineering while maintaining a reputation for precision machining and tight tolerances. Their rifles feel purpose-built rather than mass-produced, appealing to enthusiasts who value technical sophistication and innovation. At number 3 sits Knight's Armament Company, a name that carries significant weight in both civilian and professional circles. KAC rifles are known for their exceptional build quality, proprietary components, and deep roots in military development programs. In 2026, Knight's Armament remains a gold standard for AR-15 engineering excellence, producing rifles that reflect decades of iterative refinement and real-world feedback. Ownership of a KAC rifle is often seen as a statement of appreciation for engineering heritage rather than mere brand prestige. Number 2 is LMT, or Lewis Machine and Tool, a company that has earned its reputation through uncompromising manufacturing standards and modular design philosophy. LMT rifles are known for their monolithic upper receivers, robust bolt carrier groups, and engineering choices that prioritize strength and adaptability. In 2026, LMT continues to occupy a unique space between military contractor and civilian manufacturer, producing rifles that feel industrial, deliberate, and intensely overbuilt. Their rifles appeal to owners who value structural integrity and long-term durability above all else. And finally, at number 1, the AR-15 brand that claims the top spot in 2026 is Colt, a name that may surprise some and feel inevitable to others. Colt's legacy with the AR platform is unmatched, and in recent years the company has recommitted itself to quality, consistency, and civilian market relevance. In 2026, Colt's AR-15 rifles represent a synthesis of historical experience and modern manufacturing discipline. They are not flashy, experimental, or trend-driven, but they embody decades of institutional knowledge and hard-earned refinement. Colt's return to prominence reflects the enduring value of experience in an industry where novelty often overshadows reliability. Beyond individual brands, what truly defines the AR-15 market in 2026 is how dramatically the platform has shifted from a niche enthusiast item into an industrial ecosystem that mirrors the automotive world more than traditional firearms manufacturing. The modern AR-15 is less a single product and more a modular architecture supported by metallurgy labs, CNC, machining centers, supply chain logistics, and software-driven quality control systems that would have been unimaginable when the platform first entered civilian hands. Manufacturers competing at the top are no longer just assembling rifles. They are managing tolerances across thousands of parts, predicting wear patterns, and designing around long-term lifecycle performance rather than short-term sales spikes. This evolution has forced weaker brands out of the market while rewarding companies willing to invest millions into infrastructure that consumers may never consciously notice but subconsciously feel the moment they handle the rifle. One of the most underappreciated factors separating elite AR-15 manufacturers from mid-tier competitors is consistency at scale. It is easy for a small shop to produce a handful of excellent rifles, but exponentially harder to produce tens of thousands of identical rifles that all meet the same performance expectations. In 2026, the brands dominating the top of the market are those that have mastered repeatability, not novelty. This means tighter quality assurance loops, in-house testing protocols, and manufacturing redundancies that catch microscopic flaws before they leave the factory. These investments rarely make headlines, but they are why certain rifles develop reputations for boring reliability, which in this industry is the highest compliment possible. Another defining trend shaping AR-15 rankings in 2026 is the increasing importance of materials science. Advances in coatings, heat treatment processes, and alloy formulations have quietly transformed the durability expectations of modern rifles. Where earlier generations relied on traditional phosphate finishes and standard steel compositions, top manufacturers now employ advanced nitriding, proprietary surface treatments, and carefully tuned barrel manufacturing techniques to extend service life while maintaining consistency. These choices are expensive, invisible to casual observers, and difficult to market effectively, yet they directly influence how rifles age over years, rather than months. The brands at the top of this list have consistently prioritized these invisible improvements over cosmetic redesigns. The civilian AR-15 market has also matured culturally, which has reshaped what consumers expect from top-tier brands. In earlier years, the platform was often marketed through exaggerated claims or aggressive aesthetics, but by 2026, the audience has become more discerning. Owners now ask different questions, focusing less on extremes and more on longevity, warranty support, and manufacturer transparency. This shift has rewarded companies that communicate clearly about their manufacturing processes and penalized those that rely on vague claims or influencer-driven hype. The result is a market where reputation is increasingly earned through performance history rather than launch day excitement. Regulatory uncertainty has also played a significant role in shaping the hierarchy of AR-15 manufacturers. Over the past decade, fluctuating legal frameworks have forced companies to become more resilient, adaptable, and financially disciplined. Brands that overextended during boom periods often struggled when demand normalized, while those with diversified production capabilities and conservative growth strategies remained stable. In 2026, the top-ranked AR-15 manufacturers are not just technically competent, but organizationally resilient, capable of navigating supply disruptions, legal challenges, and shifting consumer sentiment without compromising quality. The role of legacy has become more complex as well. While historical pedigree still carries weight, it no longer guarantees dominance. Legacy brands that fail to modernize their production methods or reconnect with civilian consumers have seen their influence fade, while others have successfully leveraged decades of institutional knowledge to refine their offerings. The most successful legacy manufacturers in 2026 are those that treat history as a foundation rather than a crutch, combining time-tested principles with modern execution. Another quiet differentiator among top AR-15 brands is how they approach failure analysis. In high-performing organizations, defects are not hidden or ignored, but dissected systematically to prevent recurrence. This mindset requires a cultural commitment to accountability and continuous improvement that extends from the factory floor to executive leadership. In 2026, manufacturers that openly refine their processes based on long-term data outperform those that simply react to market trends. This approach does not produce dramatic year-over-year redesigns, but it steadily elevates product reliability in ways that compound over time. The global influence of the AR-15 platform has also expanded, with international markets increasingly shaping design considerations. While civilian ownership laws vary widely, the platform's modularity and engineering appeal have inspired parallel developments worldwide. This global feedback loop has subtly influenced American manufacturers, who now design rifles with a broader understanding of environmental stresses, maintenance realities, and long-term durability expectations. The top brands in 2026 reflect this globalized perspective, even when producing rifles primarily for domestic markets. What ultimately separates the #1 brand from the rest is not a single feature or specification, but a philosophy that permeates every level of production. It is the understanding that reliability is not achieved through shortcuts, that trust is earned slowly, and that excellence must be boringly repeatable. In a market saturated with options, the top AR-15 manufacturers are those that resist the temptation to chase every trend and instead commit to incremental, disciplined improvement year after year. As the AR-15 platform continues to evolve beyond 2026, the brands that dominate today are likely to remain relevant, not because they are the loudest or most visible, but because they understand something fundamental about engineering-driven products. Users may forgive innovation that fails, but they never forget inconsistency. The rifles that rise to the top are those that quietly perform, endure scrutiny, and deliver exactly what they promise, no more and no less. In the end, the ranking of the top AR-15 rifles of 2026 tells a broader story about maturity, both of a platform and of the industry surrounding it. What was once a rapidly evolving, chaotic market has become a refined ecosystem where excellence is measured over time rather than moments. The #1 spot belongs not to the most exciting rifle, but to the one that best represents the culmination of decades of learning, failure, and refinement. And in a category defined by precision, that quiet mastery is what ultimately matters most. Looking ahead, one of the most significant forces shaping the future of AR-15 dominance is how manufacturers are preparing for an era where ownership decisions are increasingly influenced by trust rather than novelty. In 2026, buyers are not simply purchasing a rifle. They are buying into a company's long-term reliability, legal resilience, and customer support ecosystem. This has pushed leading brands to invest heavily in post-sale infrastructure, including warranty fulfillment, parts availability, and transparent communication channels. While these aspects rarely appear in spec sheets, they profoundly affect brand loyalty over time, especially as consumers become more experienced and less susceptible to surface-level marketing. Another subtle but important shift is how manufacturers are responding to the aging AR-15 owner demographic. Many early adopters from the platform's boom years are now seasoned owners who value ease of maintenance, ergonomic refinement, and predictability over experimental designs. This demographic change has influenced everything from control layout standardization to finished durability, encouraging manufacturers to favor designs that age gracefully rather than impress briefly. The rifles that rank highest in 2026 reflect this maturity, prioritizing intuitive handling and long-term comfort over aggressive visual differentiation. What this ranking ultimately reveals is that the AR-15 market in 2026 is not dominated by a single philosophy, but by a spectrum of approaches that reflect different priorities and values. Some manufacturers emphasize accessibility, others obsess over precision, and a few invest heavily in innovation or legacy. The #1 spot is not about being perfect, but about delivering consistent excellence across time, scale, and scrutiny. In a platform as ubiquitous and scrutinized as the AR-15, that consistency is the hardest achievement of all.